Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Jennifer Kirk.
And I'm Dave Leese, and welcome to the Grand Prix final recap. We have made it through the Grand Prix season. It feels like the marathon is over. Jenny, we have so much to discuss today, but I tried my hardest to make a big comeback in fantasy.
You did. You know what, Dave gambled in the pairs. He put Stoblova and Klima first, and it paid off.
You weren't supposed to tell them that.
Well, it was a gamble. I mean, it wasn't like he was doing it.
You know, I get nervous whenever we talk about Duhamel and Radford, but I like to think, like, it's not unlike when you're camping and they say that if you see a wild animal, look at the animal, walk slowly. They are as afraid of you as you are of them. So when we talk about Duhamel and Radford, I think that that's what we have to remember.
Pause.
I had Stoblova.
You've gone camping? You go camping?
I'm an Eagle. Well, I'm an Eagle Scout, Jenny.
Oh, wow.
I backpacked in my day. Yeah, but like I was the one boy at Boy Scout camp that had like my Jordan Samuel facial cleanser. I had to clear it.
I was like, I can't imagine Dave Lee's camp. Like, we kind of camped at like the Hampton Inn in Colorado Springs. That was camping for us. Guys, there wasn't maid service every day.
There was not.
We tried to save money. Okay, pause. I digress. Yes, so we're very excited. We want to say parabens to our Grand Prix final winner, Michael Parr. He got 8 out of 12 medalists right. 14 quads he predicted. I predicted the right amount of quads too. He was Team Jenny. I didn't win this week. I'm sorry, guys. Team Eldridge. But Jennifer Clater, she is just... You can't beat her. So apparently she broke her leg before Rust-Telecom Cup. So this is a nice little... She won the last 2 weeks. She is our overall winner. She won some nice... So this week it was all beauty products for men and women. She won the women's pack. I like this argan oil. And I also really want to talk about this eyeshadow.
I didn't get eyeshadow.
Yeah, see, this is what she's going to get this, and it has these nice little colors. I have it on my eyes. But parabens to everybody there. I also am wearing a shirt that I'm going to discuss at the end because I need to talk about how skaters are so much more than just pretty, although pretty is very important. And you want to discuss something from Jordan Samuel's skin.
Well, I really like the Plie treatment cleanser, and it's very, very nice and very effective. And if there's one thing that you want at like your holiday party, or if you're seeing people you haven't seen in a while, you want to look young, you want to have good skin, and this is because looking young and pretty is the world's best revenge to anyone. And that's what the holiday season is really all about, being thin and pretty with the good skin so that people are really complimenting you. How old are you now? Oh. Very important for the holiday season. I mean, it is better to give than to receive, but to receive compliments is really quite up there. So, and you could give the Jordan Samuel Plie to anyone on your holiday list this season.
JordanSamuel.com. And again, we want to thank Dan from Puritan's Pride for putting together all of this fantasy. We've had so much fun playing with you guys. It's been excellent. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more fantasy in the future. And I was the overall pewter medalist.
Oh, Jenny. Medal ceremony. I mean, I got it out for you and Ash Wagner. Diva Wagner and you always said she would be down there with you and Anne Patrice in 2003. And like, you both won the pewter this weekend.
We manifested the pewter. Well, let's discuss this weekend's event. Let's start with the ladies. Medvedeva winning here. She does 5 of her jumps in the long program in the second half, which is very impressive. And in the short program, too, she waits a long time before doing those technical elements. 9s for skating skills. Do you agree with that? Is she going to win the World Championships, Dave Leese?
Well, the 9s, bless. But in comparison, it was raining gifts for everyone at the Grand Prix final.
How many season bests did we see there? I mean,
in isolation, I don't know if the marks were a 9. But Ashley got a 139, and Gracie got a 128 with a program that I was thinking was going to go 109-ish. So it was Christmas for everyone in Barcelona. And I think, well, it's the TH, so it's like the little list. No, Barcelona.
Didn't you like the announcer? Everything was so excited and happy, and I really liked how it was like bedazzled. The kiss and cry was bejeweled. It's very good.
And it was purple. I liked it.
Yeah, purple and pink.
I think we need to keep events in Spain. Yeah. I think the Grand Prix final in Spain can be like a thing. A thing. Yeah. I liked it.
Like, Skate Canada, Skate America, Grand Prix final will always be in Spain. Yeah. All right, sorry, keep going.
So I thought that the marks were so, like, we were just raining marks for everyone that were a little bit suspect in the singles events. So I thought that in comparison, but I don't think that her skating skills are a 9 overall. It's very busy, but if you look at Ilya Averbuk, her choreographer, his free dances bless. My friend reminded us of a time for peace during your era. I don't know if you remember that. The Russians did a tribute to 9/11. They had this one lift at the end of the program where she was falling down him like Tower 2. I mean, it was just really literal. But yeah, so it's much. She's much. But I like, she's gritty. She's competitive. She's exciting. I don't agree with Phil Hirsch that she's the best ever yet. She's been around for 5 minutes. So I'm not going to give her that on the senior level, but I think she is a good skater. I think that the choreography, I just would like it more. I like moves held out. I would like to see, because there's so much going on. It's almost a little frantic. What do you think?
Yeah, I think her grit is definitely what she has going for her. Her technique doesn't scare me as much as Lipnitskaya, some of the other women. I feel like she has more of a future. There's parts of her skating that I really like, but I agree. There's things like the spiral that need to be held a little bit longer. But that competitive mindset.
And she also does the Sasha skid, but she does it at like 160 degrees, where the leg is kind of out in front.
Well, and she's on to the next thing, too. She's not really, following.
But you know that Yuya would have that leg all the way up.
Yeah, that is true. But she would also be kind of bendy, and I don't know. It needs to be held a little bit longer. But respect for her. She was wonderful
you're gonna do Sasha, you have to do it all the way.
Yeah, and hold. It's something that's nice to be said about movements that are held. Well, also nice for Satoko. I really think the key for her is this consistency, because I saw her giving a little bit more face in the short program, which was good to see here. Giving a little bit of like flirty eyes when that music changed. But just consistency, because some of the jumps still are a little bit scary.
Scary.
And the flip is scary that she's not getting the top of that topic, but she trains so well. It looks like she can just go out and do it no matter what. And
her back is stunning. The posture is stunning.
And the spins
it's almost like a wind-up music box, and you just know it's going to just be like perfection from start to end.
Yes.
She's never going to break character. She's going to be perfect and precise, and it's beautiful. Maybe a little more emotion could be good over time as she gets, but I love watching her. She's so consistent, and I regret
there's never going to be a big blowout.
Yeah. It's going to be good. Yeah. And could she win Japanese nationals this year? I mean, I think that would be an upset, but I think that she's certainly capable of it and has shown it several times, because it's going to be a good skate almost every time out. And I thought was interesting is that she was a surprise silver medalist at Worlds. We certainly knew that she had the potential to win a bronze, but I think many people thought that Radionova was going to get the silver at least, and she competed well there, and she's done well every single time since and really solidified herself as one of the top ladies in the world, so that's really encouraging.
Yeah, and I feel like she's skating into that role a little bit more event by event, which is good to see. Well, Radionova skating well here. She's been having some trouble on that second loop in her long program this season. But it's one of these things where last season I could forgive it, and I've talked about it before, but at this point, just the skating skills, it's so hunched, and I can't agree with some of the judges. She got 9s for skating skills. I don't see that. Maybe for performance execution, even for choreography, if you want to give her a 9 for something, but not for the skating skills. And things are just so rushed, and it's painful to watch.
The speed is because she's hunched.
Yeah.
I love her grit. I love her personality.
But I feel like part of skating skills should be posture. Like, that's when I think of how are your skating skills? It's the whole body is a part of the skill.
And that's what you're going to get from Costner. That's what you're going to get from Mao. That's what you get from Michelle Kwan. It's
Patrick,
Yeah. And I think that overall, these Russian ladies are not at 9s. I don't think any of the ladies here were really at 9s in terms of skating skills. Everyone's just being marked too aggressively, and I think that was why we moved to this judging system, but it's not being applied correctly, and it's just a little ridiculous at this point. I understand wanting to give people a bonus because it's the final, it's exciting, it's head-to-head, but the judges kind of have to rein it in and really mark appropriately, I think.
I completely agree.
Because to me, I think that season's best is a joke, especially
particularly when you're not skating, and you can see in the skaters' faces in the kiss and cry where they're like, oh, season's best. But they know at their other events, maybe they didn't fall twice, and they did here, or that jump was around, and they know it really wasn't around here. So
when people are always asking us about season's best and points from event to event, you can't really compare.
No. It's how they want to mark up at that event. But it's good. She seems like she's handling her body changes as well as we could have expected. And I think the problems with her skating. Yeah, I expect to see her at Worlds, and I expect she'll be in that hunt for a medal. I think the problems with her skating are outside of technique, or outside of anything that could have been affected by her growth spurt. This is just problems that I aesthetically don't enjoy about her skating.
And her jump, she has to fight them. She had a big growth spurt, so
Yeah,
the
she
technique
lands
is
forward
adjusting.
a lot.
Yeah, it's not. But she fights, and that's one thing that. Look, I would take a Medvedeva or a Redianova in our country any day for that gritty, because they fight for both programs and they don't have these weird psychological issues that we are going to need to get into.
I was going to say, well, let's talk about Ashley, because she was a Peter, non-Peter medalist here. Discuss. Bless. Where's my little... Bless.
Sucks for them, moving on.
Oh.
Remember when Alexa were like, the American ladies, sucks for them.
Moving on. Okay, so, I mean, the long program was great. Well, we expected it to be great. We always expect her to come back. And I think, like I talked about
the quote, too. Remember when we did the preview show, that quote came out, I texted it to you immediately.
Because that's what I said in the NHK show. She needs to dig herself into a hole. And she needs to come out. And I think the thing that parabens, like phenomenal that she was able to, great long program. But what I cringe at is all of the acclaim of she's such a fighter. She came back so strong. I don't see it often when a skater does have a disappointing short program and they come back strong. It's really tough psychologically to get yourself up the next day after a really bad short program. But I don't think that is applicable to Ashley Wagner ever. Because I think with her, it's not conscious, but I think she does it kind of to herself because it's comfortable now. It feels good. She knows. It's almost more comfort for her. If I do a poor short program, okay, the pressure's off. Like, I'm a fighter. That's how I see myself. So it's not like a skater that we expect to do well and always does a great short, bombs a short, and then comes back in the long.
When she does a good short, the long makes me nervous.
Right. That's when we should really be applauding her. Program. Yeah.
But it was a good long, but the jumps were a little scary. We were hanging on to that victory.
But I think that's much more of a victory for her outside of placement than what she was able to do this past week. Because we expect this kind of, not to detract from or take away from a great long program, but it wasn't, the pressure for Ashley is when she does a good short, not when she has to dig herself out of the hole.
And she should be able to do a good short. It's a good program. The thing is that it's the same time she rushes into that flip. She does not check with her shoulders on the 3 turn.
Well, one of the things I texted you when I was watching, Ashley, I think she's somebody who has trouble focusing sometimes. And the minute that short program music starts, the audience gets into it. And they really got into it here. And it seemed like when she was getting into the flip, she wasn't in focus mode. I almost think it would be good for them to change the musical arrangement. I know, like, adding another music to that short program, it already is edited enough. But having it be slow, because as a skater, you can feel the audience, you feel their excitement, their energy going into your combination, your short program. And Mary used to always say this to me, you have to have really calm music. You can have it at the end, it can be fun, but you can't be thinking about the audience when you're going into a triple combination.
I do agree that the music does start. I mean, it's initially, she's given a little...
Yeah, and then the audience gets in, and it's too much, I think, for her mentally.
And she cannot attack a triple toe. I mean, this girl has trouble rotating a triple toe when everything is perfect.
Yeah, what was that?
She's fighting, but come on. I was trying to watch it work. Yes. You know, like where you have like the window up and you watch it, thinking about it.
And then when Zoe walks by, you click it off. Yeah.
But like, I was definitely watching, and like someone's going by, and I'm like, oh fuck! And I was like, oh, I think I like saved something wrong. Like, oh man, I'm sorry for my language, but that's how I feel about like Ashley at this point. I love to watch her and Raphael in the Kiss and Cry, because I remember like the villain Disney movies. So I remember the Jungle Book. I don't know if it was the panther or the snake, but one of them had this like distinct smile where you knew they were about to eat you. And Raphael just sits there in the Kiss and Cry like this. Like, and I would love to mic him when they walk away from the Kiss and Cry, and she looks away with this look on her face. It's the best. The body language. And this is why we call her Diva Wagner. Some people on Twitter haven't been here for the whole journey. They're like, she seems like a nice girl. Why are you calling her? There's always drama with Ashley. Every time that the spotlight is on Ashley, the story is always going to be what is going on with Ashley, event to event to event. Apparently, the drama was she was texting Adam, is this where she belongs anymore? Ashley, you need to read the tweets to you. I mean, there's just a lot going on, Jenny, between event to event. Like
I just think that that's all energy wasted. I mean,
Yes.
you have to make your mind up. You have to do it. And enough with the stories, enough with the, you know, gritty, I'm going to get back, or like this is about the press or whatever that
Go
she had
in and
last
do
year.
2 programs.
Just do your job. Make it easy
Now,
for yourself.
So she lucks out if she gets that Salchow round. And I know that you were really angry with her practices because we watched them in person.
Yes.
And it's not like she just does this at the events.
No.
This is how she practices in Colorado Springs, we had reports. This is how she practiced when we saw her. Discuss the long program when people say, oh, Ashley did a clean long program or a good long program. Pause. Okay.
Okay, she leaves out that spin before the change of the music, before the next element is a loop, half loop, sow. As a skater, and I didn't even compete with these crazy contortionistic spins. I competed with camel sit back sit, was like my exhausting spin. Spins are so much more tiring than jumps. Any skater will tell you this. When you leave out a series of spins or a combination spin, you are giving yourself, you're basically restarting the program from the beginning. So it's like a blank slate redo. So then when you're skating into the combination, of course you're going to have that extra little energy to get the Salchow off. When she does it in competition, she doesn't have that break. She doesn't have that time. So there's going to be a little bit of a more tweak, a carrot, on the landing of that Salchow because she's tired. Even if she doesn't feel like she's tired, psychologically, you may not have that judge, that little extra.
And the energy is different.
Yeah,
the rhythm is
the
different.
timing. Yeah, exactly. The rhythm, the timing. And she often gets dinged on the spins. She won't get the levels on the spins because if you don't practice them in the program,
why is she not practicing her spins every day in the program?
And that's where.
Why is Raphael not yelling?
Yeah, he
yells
doesn't.
at her about everything else.
Yeah, and I think it's a mentality of we got to get the jumps, we got to get the jumps. The spins and the whole training package, the whole program is just as important. And that's when people say, "Oh, I'm so surprised that she does clean programs at competitions." That's not a clean program, in my opinion. That's a clean section. That's a really great section. But the program is you hit your starting position, you hit your ending position, and from the beginning to the end, you do not stop. Gracie, shall we discuss? Sorry, I'm so passionate about that.
I think that if Ashley just like cut the BS, did the whole program,
she would be so great. She'd be medaling. She'd be second here easily.
And she'd be a little bit more confident.
And she wouldn't feel like people had to get her. Yeah.
When you leave out the spins, you do feel a little bit more nervous.
Yeah, it's one of these things where you're not honest with yourself. And you have to be able to know when you're out there, the spotlight is on you, that you're being completely authentic as a person on and off the ice. And when you're doing that, you're cutting yourself short as an athlete. It's worth the week of like feeling like you're going to puke at the end of the program, maybe missing the last jump because you've added the spin in. And that week of feeling like hell is worth it when you get to an event like a Grand Prix final in Nationals and the Salchow is backwards.
And your abs look that much better. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just,
it's good all around. Well, not good all around.
She did do a great long. Loved it.
Yes,
good job.
And nothing to detract. These are just things that we're passionate people. Gracie, what the fuck happened? I know.
So
wait, pause. Can we just talk about how nice my room smells after these recaps?
Yes.
This is really good. Puritan.com.
I did my investigation. I made my phone calls. Okay. She was doing clean programs for a week and a half before she left for the final. So Gracie,
she's one of these, she does the spins, people.
She does do the spins, and she was doing clean long, clean short every day. So, but my thing with Gracie is that I watched her practice, and I noticed that she did a double Lutz triple toe. And I just get this vibe that when she's around the big ladies, like if it's Gracie against Ashley, I don't think she's
I think she sees them as like, oh, this is a competition, I'm going to step up.
But when she sees Medvedeva doing 5 triple toes on the end of every jump, when she does triple Lutz, triple toe, triple loop, triple toe, and she's just doing these, training drills, and then she sees Mao Asada in the middle of her run through do a triple axel, triple toe, I think that she starts to think, well, maybe I'm not good enough to be world champion. Maybe I'm not good to win here. I don't know if I'm going to do. And the fear of failure becomes so strong. And it's almost like there's nothing you can do, and then there's a lot. You have to figure out what's going to happen, and I think they really need to work with her psychologically. I don't see Frank as being that. At this point, I think he needs to bring someone in. Like, maybe he needs someone to travel with them because he's not good with emotion. And I think maybe bring Linda Fradiani in. She's
Yeah.
coaching in Toyota. Gracie seemed to connect with her. Maybe she could stay there. Like, she needs someone to be talking.
Not motherly. Yeah, and we talked about it last season. And Frank is a fantastic coach. But just as someone who took from Frank, he's business. He's really professional. And that's great. And it works for so many skaters. And I just think somebody like Gracie, who's a little bit more frail when it comes to pressure, she needs someone not necessarily, like I said, holding her hand in the locker room, but sitting next to her being like, hey, Gracie, let's talk about like your makeup. How does your makeup look today? Or, like, you look so pretty. Like somebody who's just keeping her calm, because I think she gets so tight and nervous and anxious. Somebody to really pump her up and be like, honey, you're awesome. Like, give her a pep talk before she gets on the ice, as opposed to just, I'm going to be this stoic.
And I think Linda would be perfect because, we all want Frank in a good mood. Because otherwise, Frank could be like, well, I should have sat home with the dogs. And
and he'll say that.
Martini right now. Yes. So I think if Linda's his favorite, let's be honest, his ever. Like, he's over Nagano. I don't think he's over, like, Linda's loss at novice regionals. I don't think that's his, like,
You never get over your first love, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's his first love. I think that she could go and travel with him. She'd have the really good kiss and cry look.
Yeah, and she's gritty. She's not, and this is going to be such an insult, but in my opinion, she's not Patrick Chan's coach. She's not going to say something.
Yeah.
Something in the kiss and cry. Yeah, she's going to be like, if you mess up, I feel like she'd give it to you straight. She'd be like, honey, you need to be a competitor, as opposed to just, giving you some sort of compliments just to fluff you up. Like, I think coming from her, Gracie would respect it. I like this.
Because I think Frank gets her physically ready. We could have Linda there.
To just be a little bit more of like a, come on, honey, you can do it.
She could like tell Gracie to get her highlights done. Because, Linda was the original glam girl. That's why skaters have these dresses. So I think, she could be helping people out. Yeah.
Well, a woman who may need some help heading into nationals is Mao Asada. Great triple axelite posted on Instagram from her short program, and then it just seems like the focus goes off. Apparently, she has gastroenteritis, aka the stomach flu, and is back in Japan
for weeks.
Oh, honey, bless! I feel for you. Like, that's
because didn't she have that at NHK too? They were saying she was sick there.
Maybe she ate at Chipotle, like I did, and I mean, it takes it out of you. She got to put it together though.
She looks really thin and really tired.
Yeah,
she's doing the jumps. It just looks like she needs energy and a rest, and unfortunately, she has nationals coming up
next week. Yeah.
Give her a bye.
I have a question for you. If she doesn't medal at Worlds, how big of a disappointment? I mean, is this something where you come back, you have to get first or second at Worlds, or it's not? I mean, only she can really answer that in terms of her motivation for coming back. But as perception-wise,
well, I would say for most people, yes. But Mao Asada has had some seasons that, and then the next season she comes back better than ever.
So you never know.
So you never know what can happen with her. She could win the Worlds, she could be sixth, and then she could be sixth and then win everything next season. And I think she is a competitor and likes it, but I think we're going to have to kind of see with her because beginning of the year she looked great. Maybe it is illness, and maybe I feel like she's been working really, really hard, maybe even too hard.
Yeah, it's like
she has this.
She's overtrained.
Yeah.
Give herself a break, and rice crackers are very good. Just
yeah.
In my opinion. And the clear Gatorade. Okay, let's discuss the men because Yuzuru Hanyu, bless.
I just wanted to give a shout out. I have a new little Japanese love, Marin Honda, and I think we were like having like a moment when I watched on my. So she didn't win here, but she's my new little
one to watch for.
I love her. I think she'll be around for a long time. Really enjoy her. And when Medvedeva is given lip to Eteri Tudbridze, she really checks herself out in the Jumbotron. Do you notice that?
Medvedeva?
No, Medvedeva's coach. The one.
Yeah. I like her.
So she had the junior winner here as well. Parabanes to her. Polina Terskaya. Yeah. So she has another one. Look, Medvedeva already.
There's always one in the wings, honey.
She pushed out Lipnitskaya and Sakhanovich in the same season. We don't even remember Sakhanovich.
No, she's...
What happened to her? She was like silver medalist last year. Bless, she's gone. Now I think she'll be at nationals, but we have a new one in the wings ready to go. So that training rink must be very intense.
We need to do a TSL on the road there. Send us to Russia.
On the road with Tudbridze, yes.
We would have fun in Russia. Okay, let's talk about Yuzuru. I mean, like, come on. What can you say? He's my favorite thing.
There were no tears until he got his score.
My favorite was the finish, and then he just did like this. it kind of turned me on. He was so, I was like, whoa. He gave this look to the camera, which was like, hey, like, yeah, check me out. And I kind of did. It was very, like,
he knew he was going to do that. Like
he totally knew. And then the score came up and he was just like, like he was happy. And he's like, I don't know why I'm crying because it was just like emotion. But and you said this in the text, no more noodly, like I'm going to die at the end of my long program anymore. Like it looks like he's been doing planks with me every morning. Like his core is so strong. He's getting through his programs. Parabéns.
The one thing is that, so there's actually not that much higher that he can score.
Like
he's getting like 9.93 for some of these components.
10s, yeah.
10s. He's going to have to do the quad loop because at a certain point, he's not going to be able to get a new personal best.
Yeah. And I think, I'm sorry, one of the things I love too is watching his program. I felt like I was watching the Elvis Stoico, Todd Eldredge skating again at the end. It's that big music and the footwork at the end, and it grabs you so much in the way that he ends.
Choreographic sequence when he's ready for
just phenomenal, like just parabens.
Yeah.
Okay, so Javier got 10s for transitions. Agree or disagree? And skating skills. Pause.
It was in Spain.
I mean, good for him. He came back in the long, the short. It was hard to skate after Hanyu, but
got a little bit of a Christmas gift in the short, but
yeah, in the long program, those nice triple axel he fought. I was proud of him.
He fought on all of his jumps in the long program. He looks more focused and settled when he's competing. Like he's looking like he's maturing into this role as a star of skating and someone who
like the kind of show boy. But pause. And so Shoma Ona, fourth in the long Shoma. That's what he says. Shoma Ona.
Yeah.
Fourth in the long program. Okay, so for his PCS, he got 89.58. Javier got 96.78. Just saying. I don't understand. He's getting 8s in his skating skills. I don't understand why he was marked. I don't understand why he was behind Patrick Chan in the long program. Patrick did a great long program, but Shoma, that was a moment for me.
I think that Shoma was phenomenal in the free skate. I think that if he were around here for 1 year longer, that he would be getting, because he doesn't have, it's not, where you say like Patrick, Javier, you're like, Shoma Uno, like he's the next one. But no, it's like Shoma Uno. I mean, he's arrived, I think, at this point.
He's so good. And just, I didn't understand that, but I thought he was great.
I think in another year, his performances that he did here would have gotten him higher marks.
Yeah, 10s. I would.
Yeah, I mean, he was... Minus the leg wrap and the way he lands the jumps, like it's.
I actually thought it was better here, though. I didn't feel so like he was opened on his left side. Good long program from Patrick. The short program, honey. I don't.
Okay, so what were your favorite things that the coach said this week? I mean, they were all...
I didn't write it down here, but I remember after the short, she just kept talking. And it's one of these things where you want Alexa to be like, what did she say that one time at Fort Collins?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like
she was just like, shut up. Like,
yeah.
You just want to be like, it's not...
And I feel like the coach is like working with Patrick within his ego. Like, obviously, if you don't have a jump coach, you feel pretty confident.
That you don't need. And I think he does need. His triple axel is not.
And he's not getting that second quad in.
No. And I just feel like the long program, compared to Hanyu's, at the end, it's so one note. And it's beautiful skating, but it doesn't grab you. Even when he skates well, you can appreciate it, but it doesn't have that same emotional pull that Hanyu's program has.
The short could, if he did it well and got a better costume. Even a different color.
Yeah, I did.
The free program, I think that is a costume, but it doesn't look like a costume. It looks like, I don't know, what did he get that at Foot Locker? Like, what is with the pants?
It looks like it's an athletic shirt. I don't
know. What is he like half-assing? I don't understand what's going on with Patrick. The no coach, the no costume.
You got to be in or you'd be out. And if you're going to be, I almost feel, and this is just my opinion, that he's so afraid, it seems, to really go in. It's someone who is so talented. What if I don't live up to that talent? So in a way, you can kind of have these things where you can blame it, or we can blame it. Like, oh, well, he doesn't have a jump coach. That's why he's missing that second quad. In a way, you're self-sabotaging but it makes you feel comfortable because you're saying, well, I'm not all the way in. So if I mess up, there's a reason why, as opposed to, I just can't handle pressure. That's just something that
If he gave this 110%, I think he'd be fighting for silver. I don't think he's no, because he needs to add a second triple axel. I mean, the points are just not going to be there.
And he needs another quad at least. Yeah.
Yeah. At least a second quad toe, and then he needs to be working the quad sow, which he could do in the past. Otherwise, I don't see the reason for coming back if you're not going to fight. Like,
Yeah,
the
you've
fall,
already an
the
Olympic silver medalist. Yeah.
The Grand Prix season is cute, and that's fun, and you know, you get to go to around the world, Barcelona, but it's about to be championship season. Now everything is a real title for continents, nationals, worlds, and he needs to get it together. This is a long time to be the short program mistakes. It just looks like he hasn't improved in the short program since the summer competitions. It just looks like he's still making early season errors that
you can pop a short program combination once a season. And after you pop, you fight for heck to pull in Gracie Gold on that jump. Every single time after that, you can't pop a short program required jump 2 times in one season. It's just 3 times now. He's missed it at every competition.
And I think then he missed the axle at the summer event. Like, it's just, he hasn't done a clean short yet.
No.
This is Patrick Chan. This is Patrick. I mean, he's very talented. I believe he trains well, but I think it's that extra getting over the hump. And around the other men, maybe he doesn't really have the confidence yet. He's kind of getting into digging himself into a hole. We've seen it every time. It's kind of like it's an Ashley Wagner.
It's become. But before I move on to the pairs, because we have an interview coming up. Let's talk about 2 of the men, Boy and Jin. The messy landings need to work on the skating skills. Same story that we've talked about at some of the other events.
There is no program.
Yeah, there is no program. There's no in-betweens. And it does worry me about this current system that had some of those jumps been a little bit more secure.
He could have medaled.
Yeah, and I don't think he has the overall skating quality.
They need to have an ISU meeting about what transition are, what a program is. If you're doing 4 quads, it still needs to be well balanced. And I was saying stuff on Twitter that this is what Carlo Fassi was talking about when they got rid of figures, about what was going to happen. And now with the IJS, this is what's happening because they're just giving people the second mark ridiculously.
Well, and that's the thing. They have to feel okay at an event like a Grand Prix final to give a skater like him a 6. Like, you have to
and
be
if a
okay.
Russian junior lady is doing 7 triples, give them the points for the triples. But if they don't have big skating, don't give them big marks.
No.
Give them less marks, but they still would have won. But if you still would have won, you could have marked her correctly.
Right.
You know,
And Murakami just work on the consistency. It was a pretty good short program up to that point. All right, pairs. Question. And I love them. And I am going to compare the 2. Stoblova and Klimov. The Rosano double toe. Positive GOEs. It looks like a carrot to me. I'm just saying.
It looks like a carrot a little bit, especially he had really weird landings on both of the toes.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a positive GOE moment.
Yeah, but it was for them.
And they had the kindest camera ever because I rewatched it a couple of times to look for the carrot, and it's really hard to tell based on, and maybe they play it, because Tom Z was telling me where you can plant things.
You know the blind corners, yeah.
So the ISU needs 2 cameras. They can afford it. You can have a camera for the caller on one end, and there'll be no blind areas. Everything will be fair.
We should be able to see. I mean, if you're going to use instant replay, slow-mo replay, you should have cameras to show them.
Evans triple axel at one point because he thought that it looked cheated because of the camera.
I mean, we need to have cameras everywhere. That said, I agree. They were phenomenal. I mean, they put it together.
I love her.
She wanted to win.
She's icy queen. She is. I love her. I have to say. So she gives you the throw landings. Granted, they're not going for the quad.
And they're little wrapped, but yeah.
She does have a little bit of a wrap. Not a bad wrap, but then she gives you the extension. And she has that X factor when you watch her. I mean, she's hit beautiful positions. We already know that she could punch him in the face if he can miss something. Like, he has to hit. Otherwise, she might skate. Money is on her. I love to watch her. She doesn't smile much. I'm not sure why. Maybe she has braces. I don't even know. We haven't seen her teeth in weeks.
She's just always cool as a cucumber. And I think in comparing them to Jillian and Bob, Megan and Eric, they're both doing pretty this season. Like, I'm not like pretty princess, but like more pretty skating.
So what is this story of Stolbova and Klimov's free? The Russians love the rope imagery, so he's like pulling her up as a rope at one point. I don't know. But they have a rest section in their program, but it's inventive and creative to where I don't care. They're obviously resting, getting ready for the second half. But when they do gorgeous side-by-side triple sows and then a throw triple flip, you don't care. You know, it's great.
But I think the problem with Megan and Eric versus them is because they're both doing the same genre, and just a woman came off, they have better skating skills, in my opinion. And I think Megan and Eric, what they did so well last season is that music was exciting. They ended that program with that lift, and she just fell back into him, and it was, driving music. And this program is good. We talked about it. It's good, but it doesn't, when you compare Pretty to Pretty, I think Stolbova and Klimov, it's just because of the way that they move aesthetically on the ice, the way they look as a team, they're going to the PCS is going to be higher when you do two similar genres of program.
And Stolbova even shows skating. There's one point where she skates away from him and she does a back twizzle into like a forward moves that she turns that she's doing. And you can just tell that this girl can skate.
Yeah.
And you're going to give them that extra little points. They don't even have a great twist, but they're getting it better. And that they've actually kind of figured out the points. So even if they don't, like the Rosano, it's around, it's not around on the second one, whatever. Their throw triple flip with the GOE here got 7.5 points. Now, Jillian and Bob do the throw quad sow as their first throw, but Megan has never landed this. Like
clean,
leg up,
Yeah.
back up. She doesn't get the extension landing on the throws. She lands them deep in the knee. She's doing a quad. It's difficult. It's exciting. But when you see the Chinese do a quad throw, Sui, if she lands it, is landing it with the leg up, Elena Berezhnaya, Shui Shen style. And Jillian is gritty, and she's getting into the knee, but to me, that's lower GOE. And it's kind of like on everything that Jillian and Bob do, they're going to get lower GOEs, just in terms of some of the quality. I know that they go for the entrances and the exits, but some of the things, when the Russians land their throws that way, they're getting almost the same points that they do, and then they kind of combat the Lutzes with their toe-toe combinations, and then they do... Jillian and Bob do triple toe, double toe, and then they do the triple sows. They're kind of making up the points.
Right, with the GOE. Yeah.
They don't even need a quad at this point. And I don't think that Volozhidar and Trankov do either if they come back and can skate quickly.
No, and that said, it was great. The top two teams, great skating. But I think when you compare the two, it is, if you're going to do clean versus clean, it's just two different styles of skating. And I think the way that their long program is, Stolbova and Klimov, will have the edge if both teams are clean, just because of the aesthetic and the way that they move on the ice. It just seems still like Jillian and Bob are skating to the next thing. Like, they're skating a little bit tense and tight, and I noticed that again here.
It's in their heads a little bit now that they're, and not shocking because they've had that problem in the past, but one thing that I noticed is that they rearranged their program, which is good because the setups were too much, but it's still new, and they really have to kind of rework this. So I know they're putting the toes in, and they want a more balanced program, but to me, I still saw a long setup before the side-by-side triple toes. I didn't see a lot of meaningful transitional skating. Like, I think they really need to work on the choreography and kind of redo the middle of the program.
I think it's, for me too, now, correct me if I'm wrong, both side-by-side jumps are in the same spot on the ice, like the same end, and both throws are now on the same spot. And I like it when it's... I mean, these are just little things that you think about when you watch, but as you watch a cohesive program, just a little bit of tweaking. Okay.
Now we have to talk about the lifts for 1 second.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a lift situation. So the Russians are known for not filling out the ice with their lifts, but they hit the gorgeous position. Now, the Group 5's reverse lasso lift, I have gotten a lot of messages about this from skaters and kind of like did a little research. So, when Megan and Eric they go from 2 hand to 1 arm, he kind of hits her on the knee right before they do the rotation. So there is kind of a debate on whether or not they should be getting the bullets. I am sure Jillian will watch this. She can explain what is happening. I'm just saying, a lot of pairs are pointing this out. Some people think they should be getting a level 3 for this lift because that is, we watched their lift video, it's worth 2 bullets when she does the 3 rotations on 1 arm in that position. So she can explain, defend what the rules are.
Leave us a comment,
People
Jillian.
are watching that lift and whether or not it is correct. Okay.
Okay, Kavaguti and Smirnov. She took some glass falls, in that long program. Really great, though, that she got back together, did the throw quad sow. Overall, a pretty good competition for them. I still see them in the mix. Good for Juliana and Charlie. This was, they are really solidifying themselves as the number 2 Canadian team. It's going to be fantastic to watch Canadian Nationals, those top 4 teams. Really, I like watching them skate. I still think with the lift positions, she could stretch a little bit more, extend a little bit more, but for their first season on the Senior Grand Prix, very, very strong. And 2 Chinese teams, Yu and Jin, even the short program is boring to me. I think it's just, she's very pretty. Yeah.
They could start with the colors of their costumes.
Yeah, not as white and blue, like maybe a bright red. I really
deep purple and yeah.
Yeah, Ping and Zing, I really like their short program.
I think we need to like leave them on like an island with a bottle of vodka and some of the Viper pills from Puritan's Pride, and maybe they'll have some chemistry next season. I don't know. It's just like something needs to happen, and that throw quad in the free skate.
She should not be trying, and it was scary at their other event too. She should not be trying that. I think it's because when you have a fall that's that bad, it disrupts the rest of a program that doesn't really have a lot going for it to begin with, in my opinion. And just Zing and not Zing and How, Peng and Zing, father and daughter team. I think it's not going to happen for them, in my opinion. Love them. Alexa and Chris. Before we went to dance,
and Chris, I mean, it's funny, they've worked on the jumps, and then you notice that she missed it in the short. I know she was disappointed because he did a great,
very good.
Saukow. They would have gotten the marks with a clean short. The judges do like them. For the long, this is 2 events now that they've missed the quad twist or had an error on it, and then it's kind of freaked them out and they haven't recovered. She told me it felt like Jenga blocks, the whole program. So I think that they really need to, they need to rest because
they've competed a lot this season.
And they need to not do NHK. Like Max did so everyone had the option to do 2 Grand Prix and 2 Senior Bs, which was great. And then a lot of the skaters in the US earned money by being the Challenger Series. And they got experience, which a team like Alexa and Chris need. But they flew to Germany, flew back, through to Milwaukee, flew back, through to Austria, flew back, through Japan, flew back. There's not a lot of time, and it's exhausting. So they kind of have to do the Trophy Eric Bompard, then go to Estonia the next week when you're already there.
In Europe.
Yeah.
It'll be nice for them to have a break. I think they'll skate well at nationals, and just having that home country, we're all going to be behind them. It'll help before 4 continents, where I think they'll do well. They just need to get more confidence on the side-by-side jumps and get back to feeling. It looked like she was just a little bit freaked out just in the warm-ups and stuff. You could see she had scared eyes. And they're just own it, honey. Okay, dance. Weaver and Poche, have they grown on you? I mean, you had a tweet that you were not so impressed with the dance event here.
Overall, it's better than it was. New costumes, it's this bitter earth. But to me, I think the door is wide open for the French when they come back. Because to me, it's just not exciting enough. It was the best here. I'm not arguing with that. They were the best dancers here. They deserved their win. To me, it's not the X factor that you look for in a gold medalist.
Or in any of the teams, really. I thought the Shibutanis were great in both, but I need to discuss, I think their short dance is really doing them a disservice this year, because the free dance is exactly what we've been talking about that they needed. They need something that would allow us to perceive them in a light other than the young ones coming up who have that surprise
medal. She's giving face. I don't even watch him anymore.
No, she's giving face, and it's an emotional, and there's not weird brother-sister sexual anything in it. It's both of them giving it without any of that. But the short dance, the pink, the bow, she has fantastic posture, but they're not getting the marks. And the perception when you come out and you do a doll program like that, we're going to see you as young. And they're better skaters in that program.
I thought they were the better American team here.
I did too. In both programs.
I wasn't kidding when I said that people were going to be making phone calls.
Yeah, people. And I think it's upsetting that Evan messed up in the free dance, but in a way,
and Madison messed up on the twizzles, right? They got positive GOE for their twizzles. Which, this is a joke. That's a joke. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. It's judges.
Yeah, it's nothing against them. It's just the judges, and it's hard
if dance
to...
is going to be predetermined, don't make it look predetermined.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like, mark up something else as opposed to...
Yeah.
Then with Anna and Luca, I need to discuss in the short... So she has a little bit of a schneck issue. Her posture isn't that great. Her extension isn't that great. And when she's wearing a dress that has kind of it's like a boa material. It's like a poofy boa. It draws attention to her shoulders. Yeah, and accentuates the fact that I find them to be a bit sloppy. Just saying.
And she is having better edges, better overall. But they have improved this year. But to me, they're so happy and
it's one note. Hubble and Donahue, though, the short dance was fantastic, phenomenal.
They're great. They need to be faster. Yeah. You cannot be beautiful, slow-moving glaciers on the ice. And they have... I'm sorry, watch it. It's like they're skating through molasses.
I just feel like they haven't really grown into their material yet. I think in the short dance they do.
They look like they're with an inventive coach. Everything is working for them. They look great. They're going to go to Worlds. I think they're going to place pretty well. They need to skate faster because they're going to...
Particularly in the free dance. I think in the short dance, I don't find it to be as much of an issue. And I like when the music changes to the march. I think it just, musically, it works very well. But I agree that free dance they need to skate for it. It's almost like they're trying stuff that they don't feel like they can own quite yet. I don't know. They need to work on that.
I just want to be yelling by the boards, banging something like skate. You know what I mean? I'm having a Tarasova panic attack over here. Watching it. They need to go faster. And they would score very well. They're going to be competing against some of the Russian teams that...
Yeah, for those trying to get into the top six, you know.
Yeah.
The kind of placement at Worlds. I also want to give a shout out to some of the American men in the junior men category. Nathan Chen winning here. So he has no transitions in his long program.
And he does not push from his edges. He kind of flows his body in the jumps.
He's so good. And then good for him, like going for the 3 quads. But it's, Raphael, it's very much a skate, jump, skate, jump, skate, jump. And I posted out to the short program, which is full of transitions. And I love, and he performs so well. Could he win nationals? But I think they need to add transitions in that long program.
I do think they should send him to Worlds because we need to start developing him for 2018. I think we need to get a little bit Russia, thinking about the next Olympics with who we're going to send.
It will be interesting if it's him versus Adam for that 3rd spot, who kind of...
And then Jason with his back issue, but I would send Jason to Worlds. I would send Max to Worlds, and I would send Nathan. So in that order, I have my world team picked. I'm sorry, Adam.
Fantasy skating, we know who Dave's putting in the top 3. And Vincent's skating well here. He needs to work on the second mark, too. I think...
And I'm worried, because that is not Tom Z's focus. And I know that he's going to put him with Philip Mills for next year, but I want to see him work with...
Daily. Drew, working... And I know he takes from Drew, really work on... Because I know Vincent, and watching him train, he's so... myopic in terms of
jump focus.
Yeah, myopic focus.
And I know he has to get the jumps now, and I understand that. But Tom, your skaters aren't known for skating skills and transitions.
Show us that they can be. Yeah, known for it.
I know you and Tom Dixon, look, you're not in the same cycle in the wash. I know. Katarina Lindgren is right there. She could work with him every day. She's easier to get along. You're both strong person. We know. We understand. But I think Katarina Lindgren could really work with Vincent. She's right there. They have other people in that rink. We need to work every day with Vincent.
Every day, like
he lost
every
medal
session.
Components.
And we have to see when he does the program, because it's one thing to do it outside the program. We need a Drew, kind of like how Roheen does, to watch the program and to be like, honey, this is as important. I'm going to yell at you as much as if you miss a quad. I'm going to yell at you if you miss the transition or if you don't extend the line, because you need it when you're
Vincent
competing.
is 2 years away from going to the Olympics. He could realistically go, and we're going to need for him to have that second mark in check so that he can place highly, because these men at the top can skate.
Yes.
That is what I think. Also, parabéns to the U.S. ice dancers.
I know, look at us.
We have the Parsons, 1-2. Maryland ice dance, very, very good here.
Putting yourself on the map. And I want to discuss really quickly this Two Pretty Brands. So do you see this?
Oh, wait, Jenny. No, stop for a second. We were giving parabéns. We cannot give parabéns to the debut of synchro here. Jenny, I support the synchro movement. We're very supportive of our teams. But the North American teams we need to throw shade at. Because I don't want to hear it's early for the North American teams to compete. The Finland teams, the Finnish teams, the Russians, they've competed already. They showed up here ready to go. There were multiple falls in the Haydenets performance. And the Haydenets are our best team, and they are good, but they just looked ill-prepared. The Canadians were giving recycled moves, no feeling to Bohemian Rhapsody whatsoever. And they pulled like what the USFS did with Sasha. So they've had a lot of injuries. And earlier I'm like, oh, Lee, they'll bring you back. They had more injuries. And basically what the USFS did, where they called like Alina Cohen on the phone, like, we need Sasha back at 2010 Nationals, they pulled Lee back in because, just saying, I think some of the girls went sayonara. It was just, Jenny, there were 16 Russian girls all being Carmen. I was confused. Like, who was Carmen? There was no guy. There wasn't a lot of sass. I wasn't sure. The Finnish girls had a rocket ship. And these girls were seen at the mall eating pizza, Jenny. If you want to be taken seriously as an Olympic sport, you need to look shredded in your debut. No carbs. I mean, this is the ISU debut.
You need pause. I'm going to defend. You need carbs as an athlete.
Carbs, yes. But Jenny,
Very
you need
important.
to be looking like... athletes here, and it wasn't.
It wasn't Dave Lee's cup of tea. I didn't watch it. We had ice show this weekend. I was helping girls not wear.
Didn't watch it. Okay.
Not wear over the boot tights.
It wasn't everything this weekend. It was that we have some work to do. Okay. I support them. I'm thinking 2022 might be a little early. We need girls. I don't want to hear it's early in the season as an excuse, Lee Chandler. You can work all the cliches you want, but when you have no feeling to Bohemian Rhapsody, done. It's deal enough.
Dave Lee's is done. Well, I want to talk about, before we wrap up, this Too Pretty brand. So Carrie Williams, she was an Olympic-style boxer. Now she's an Olympic boxing coach up in Los Angeles. She has a website called Too Pretty. And so backstory, we started following them on Twitter. And I went on their website. It was like after a breakup. You know how you're feeling like, I kind of want to empower myself, like you're working through the issues of the breakup. So I wrote to them because they have brand ambassadors talking about how skaters were often known as just these pretty little princesses. And we talk about it here. But we're really gritty, strong girls. And so I kind of defended skaters a little bit. And now I am one of the brand ambassadors. And you can go to their website, tooprettybrand.com, and we have a special TSL code, which will get you 15% off all of their shirts. This one says, never too pretty to be a boss. Dave Lee knows this as well. And I love working with them. So anytime if you get a shirt, hashtag them, Too Pretty Brand, never too pretty, and we'll be continuing to talk about them in the future. But I love what they're doing. Their premise is you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Just because someone is pretty doesn't mean that they can't be fierce as well. Dave Lace, what was your moment of the week?
My moment of the week, I really love Stolbova. I have to say, I thought, and Hanyu, obviously. I'm trying to give something, Hanyu's program was a moment.
It's all of our moments. Yeah, it made our day.
Aside from that, I really loved watching Stolbova here. They gave, I'm sorry, Jillian, but she was fabulous.
You can have multiple loves.
And then Jillian texting, after, I'm sorry, Jillian. I don't
probably Bruno. Yeah.
I want to know what that text. I want a screen cap, Jillian, of what that text said. I don't believe you. Parabéns, but loved it. When you whip out the phone too. I've sent a text like that before too, honey. Come on, that was.
It's not laced with the love that maybe other texts may have been. My moment of the week was Shoma Uno's. I always feel like I say his name wrong. Him doing and I usually hate this move, but the knee bend spread eagle.
The cantilever, yeah.
Yeah, into the spin at the end. He was skating so fast, and that program was phenomenal, and I just don't think he was rewarded in the way that I would have if I were a judge. He's such a star of the now, not of the future. He's a star of the now, and he showed that this weekend. So parabens to him. What was your moment of the week? Did you love playing fantasy with us? Please leave us a comment below. We love you guys.
Yes, and do you think that Linda Fradiani should be in the Kiss and Cry with Gracie?
Because she's so pretty. She should be in the Kiss and Cry anyway.
She goes in the rink in full hair and makeup every day, people.
Respect, lady.
Respect. I bet she gives good Christmas gifts. I don't know. I'm just saying, in my mind,
She bought Ann Jensen a trip to nationals for her Christmas present.
Ann Jensen needs to be on every trip with Gracie, too, because she will crack you up. She's very important to this
and
team.
She's very loyal to those Frank students, so...
She is, but she will throw a little shade at them too, so she knows. Loving Ann Jensen. But anyway, we want to remind you that when people accuse you of being too pretty, get in touch with your inner Stolbova.
Be a boss, honey.
Be a boss. Hold an edge and look sexy. Bye, guys. So hop over to goldenskate.com so you can keep the TSL discussion going in the This and That thread. goldenskate.com.